So another question that someone submitted, they wanted to know some of the ways that labor law at the federal and state level fails to protect Black workers. So let's talk about that for a bit. Just to give an historical example of the ways that labor law has often failed to protect Black and brown workers, farm workers and domestic workers in the beginnings of the establishment of these sort of fair labor standards, things like the minimum wage, things like access to Social Security benefits. These classes of workers were excluded from participating in those programs, and this is often pushed through by Southern governments and Southern lobbying to make these carve-outs when these national standards are being set, such that the cheap, exploitable workforce that they had cultivated over generations wasn't allowed to participate in some of these programs so that they can maintain those low costs. And a lot of that tradition carries through to today. That's why you see these labor standards being much lower in the southern states and cities as compared to some of the other places in the country. So there's a history to this, and it is a part of that economic model. And that's why you're seeing this sort of retrenchment now, because again, the energy in the Republican Party has been directed towards making sure that costs are low for businesses. So they're looking to the Southern economic model and essentially saying, okay, we want to export this across the country such that labor standards are low, and when wages stay low, regulation is low, so the costs stay low. They're able to extend their profits, and who suffers? Working people and their children. And even in cases where working ages are being considered to be pushed down, so we're trying to move children back into the workforce. This is a part of this strategy to lower labor standards. And again, who's going to be hurt worse by this? It's going to be Black families, Hispanic families. That's going to be the folks who work in the occupations that already are the most dangerous, are already the dirtiest, and that are already in the most need of there being strict labor standards for protection. And so we're seeing that retrenchment happen, and that's going to have a major negative effect on those groups of workers.